To the Pies presser on this Tuesday evening. We are just days away from the Gold Coast versus the Collingwood game. Does that make sense? We are days away from Gold Coast and Collingwood. Injury report, predicted 23, things to come tonight. It's time for all things black and white. And so, what's going on? Welcome. Injury update has just come out in the last half an hour or so. So we'll give it a couple minutes, let a few people roll through, and then we'll have a look at the availabilities. There's a lot of changes that we should expect. Let me get this lighting right. How's that? There we go. There are some changes that we should expect. Ed Allen, still side bottom. Is Pendle's going to play? And then along with Bobby Hill, so it's going to be a bit of an experiment with the predicted 23. Yasu Stefanos, Benny, how's the rhyme in big tones? Andoni, Yasu, Melissa, evening, how are you? Mello, welcome. Yeah, a few players quality ready and close. Was Bobby at training? Didn't seem like it splits, according to the footage we saw. Didn't seem like he was there yesterday. So, I don't foresee Bobby Hill making the trip to Gold Coast. And I have no resources to validate that suggestion. But just logistically, just reality, right? If he hasn't been to training, he's not playing home games. He's going through personal issues. What makes you think he's going to travel to Gold Coast and play? He hasn't even trained yet. So tomorrow will be their main session, and then Thursday they'll have their typical captain's run. Pretty sure we'll know tomorrow when Fly fronts the presser, and he'll give us a little bit more insight about Bobby Hill's availability. And we just go from there, really. I mean, there's nothing really else we can do as a fan base. Just wish him well, and hopefully he comes around and overcomes whatever he's dealing with. That's just the way it is. Stewie, welcome, mate. Sullivan deserves another go, Mello. Hey, it's a tough team to break into these days and stay in. And he's kind of done that pretty well, hasn't he? How many games he played this year? Let's have a look. Let's go. Pull up good old Wheelo. You'll be surprised if Shooter plays. We'll talk about the injury report in just one moment. But let's just have a look at Sullivan's run this year. He's played 11 games, surprisingly. View match stats. And he actually had his highest rated game for the season, or for his whole entire career, against Carlton there. 20 touches, kicked a goal, didn't he? 9 contested possessions, and a goal. So the high half forwards in Lipinski and Sullivan on the weekend really got their fair share of the footy, and that clearly hurt them, didn't it, the Blues? But let's talk about this, right? Stuart Harris, a few stews in the house. Good, how are you, mate? Lily's here as well. Black and white. She goes for the blue and white. North. All right, injury update. Forward available for Suns clash. Available. Ash Johnson to return to play was delayed last week due to illness, much like many other players who missed due to illness and all that sort of stuff. Johnson has since recovered and will be available for limited minutes in the VFL this weekend. I am contemplating doing a VFL watch-along, but if I do that, it's going to be a long day, isn't it? That's what, 2.5 hours of VFL, and then that's the pre-game show, and then that's the watch-along, and then the post-game show. I don't know. Maybe I'll put a poll in soon. Test. Lockie Schultz has completed a rehab program for his hamstring injury and is returned to full training this week. Schultz will train fully tomorrow and is expected to be available for selection. I mean, if he's ready to go, if he's ticking all the boxes, bloody, let's get him back in the side. Somebody's going to be stiff after a big win. I think that you could hardly pick a player that doesn't deserve to be in this side after the game against Carlton, but these are the issues we're dealing with in 2025. You're all in for the watch-alongs, AB. We'll 110%. We already got the AFL watch-along scheduled, but the VFL one is a question mark. So if you guys want to see a VFL watch-along, let me know. It's at like 3:30 on Friday. You don't think they'll risk him splits? Pendles won't play this week. He was managed on Monday at training. We'll talk about that in the predicted 23 though. You'll be watching the VFL. You'll give a detailed review. Beautiful. Appreciate that, Stu. Bo McCreary has increased the intensity and volume of his rehab program as he recovers from a hamstring strain. McCreary is expected to complete his rehab this week and return to full training next week, which is a really good sign. It's great to hear that these players in Schultz and McCreary haven't run into any barriers along the way in their rehab. It seems like it's been quite seamless, which is great to see. So we love that, don't we? Would be nice to have Lockie and Bo. Lockie available this week and then Bo for consideration next week as well. Dom. There he is. Dom Jacobelis. If I said that right. Thanks for the 10, mate. I appreciate it. Legend. Southeast Wolf, do the second half of the VFL. Hey, let me know. I'll put a poll in for the... Should we do a VFL watch along Friday at 3? Is it 3:30? We'll just call it 3:30 p.m. Yes, no. Go there, start poll. Dom again, thanks mate for the 10. That's kind of you, mate. I appreciate it. It means a lot. It really does. Billy Frampton is progressing well as he recovers from a calf strain. Frampton has started to integrate back into the team training whilst building intensity and volume in his conditioning program. An assessment will be made next week to determine his availability over the next fortnight. Once again, it sounds like there's been no barriers that these players who are dealing with soft tissues, they haven't come across any impediments throughout their rehab, which is important in a period where it's really cold. At every single training session, you're a little bit more susceptible. Your body's a little bit worn down from the weather and you know, the rigors of the season. It's good to see these guys have gotten through unscathed thus far. Other updates. Geordie still going through his concussion protocol. Harvey Harrison, TJ, Finlay McRae, Reef, Ryan and West are all progressing well with their individual rehab programs. What's their timelines? So Geordie, protocol, TJ 2 to 4, Finlay 3 to 5, Westy 4 to 5, and then you got 3 players out for the season in Ryan, Harrison, and Reef McGuinness. So that should seamlessly lead us into the predicted 23, I think. What's everyone saying? And there's some no's, there's some yes. Yeah, okay. All right. Are we ready for the predicted 23? Give us a W. W for a win against Gold Coast if you want us to do the predicted 23 right now. Give us a W. W also manifests a win against Gold Coast. In Gold Coast, obviously. All right, we've got one there from Stephanos. Melissa's keen. All right, cool. I think we're good to go. All right. Stu says, I'm getting really excited about Jai Saxena, NJ prospect. Here's a gun. Tommy Ogon will be an engine room animal. Also like Doug Kerr's game last week in the Magoos. So they had Vic Metro versus WA? I'm waiting for some footage to come out from the game so I can maybe share it with you guys and do the analysis sort of snippets I've been doing. But yeah, Saxena would be a nice little draft bolter. And then McGuan is going to do McGuan things. Not sure where he lands, but maybe he slides a little bit, which will be beneficial to Collingwood and their draft hand. And Doug Kerr went well. Was it against Carlton? What, 15 touches did he, Stewie? And we can't forget McCarthy. That kid is I said it in my video that I posted about him a couple of weeks ago. He's a bit of a unicorn, like a DC/Luke Jackson type of thing. You think McGuan will be better than Dersman in hindsight? I think McGuan is someone who will take some time to adjust to the level. So I think we need to be. I'm pretty sure we are all understand that this guy is not going to be Nick Dacos, and if we hold him to that standard, we're all going to be very, very disappointed. So I don't think he deserves that type of bar set. All right. Stu's Magoo review. I like it. Very good, mate. All right. So what I'll do is I'll do my little introduction for the YouTubes, because I'm going to repost this after. 1 second, let me just get this. This isn't quite even, is it? No news on Bobby Peter, unfortunately. Not at this point. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the predicted 23 for the game between Gold Coast and Collingwood. A massive clash with a lot of moving parts that we will try and get a grasp of in this predicted 23. We're talking about players like Pendlebury, who could be potentially managed, may not travel. He was a part of the rehab group on Monday, which was sort of something they had forecasted for, just working on his reserving his load management late in the season. Still, Sidebottom should be available. Ed Allen available, and we've just heard from the injury report that Lockie Schultz, as long as he gets through the main session tomorrow, he will be available for selection. And then Beau McCreary the week after, hopefully. Billy Frampton will find out a little bit more about what his availability looks like next week. Okay. I think it goes without saying there's going to be a couple, one or two players who might be stiff to miss out from this team going into Gold Coast. So let's start. Let's start with the back line. As per usual, Josh Dacos has been phenomenal in the back line. Houston and Josh are sort of that yin and yang at the moment. Like, Josh is allowed to pretty much do whatever he pleases. Houston, while he could also probably do the same thing, maybe not as well as Josh, but differently. Houston is the responsible one, we'll call him, and then Josh Dacos is a little bit more, not reckless in the way he attacks, but he pursues forward and ventures forward and finds ways to get the footy and get it going inside 50. Darcy Moore's best game this year against Carlton, and probably his best game since 2023, really. He had Tom De Koning and Charlie Curnow for the most part on lockdown. Jeremy Howe, as long as Billy Frampton is out, Jeremy Howe will play that second tall. But the beauty about this backline is we just have so much versatility, and pretty much every player can switch from 1 to 6 in the forward line, in the opposition's forward line. So that's what I like the most about our backline. It's just so versatile. Like, you could have almost every single one of these players on a key forward, and you trust them, or besides maybe Josh Dacos, of course, you'd be pretty comfortable that they'll give it their best shot. And I don't think a lot of backlines can say that, and that's just the way our club has recruited recently. We've got versatile players. Houston can defend. Bruzzy, relentless in defense. Howie, tall, small. Quaynor played on Jeremy Cameron last year, so he can play on someone a little bit taller than him, and probably does do that on in most games these days anyways. Let's go Crisp. Had a quiet game, like quietly decent game. I think he had like 20 odd touches and just quietly goes about it. Jack Crisp on the wing. I think he's a little bit, I always say this, is a little bit underappreciated on the wing. And on the other wing was, why am I blanking? Rowan Steele, who we actually don't have here. So we'll go bang, bang. And we'll add him to the list. I've still got to add Noah Howes as well. Oh, I don't expect him to be selected though, so it's not that big of a deal. Rowan Steele. Could you see DC getting rested? I'm not sure about Gold Coast's availability. Is Jared Witts available? If he's playing, obviously you have DC play. If DC is genuinely sore and it's still Ned Moyle, maybe Mason Cox comes into the picture. But for now, let's just say, look, we're going to Gold Coast. It's a difficult game. It's a team we could face in the finals. Let's not muck about with this one. Let's get the win, and then we can talk about resting the likes of DC and Pendles in games like Richmond and Melbourne, which aren't too far away anyways. They're just around the corner. Lipinski, let's go midfield. We're doing the midfield, aren't we? So let's just say, look, let's be honest. Let's keep Pendles in. Nick Dacos probably got the Brownlow votes on the weekend, didn't he? And then Ned. Man, this is going to be tough. I feel like this is going to be tough. I'm getting a bit nervous already. Tom Mitchell, just can't. You can't not, right? We do need DC, Stu. Yes. Tim Membry. Just accurate. He's our most accurate kick in front of goal this year. Early in the season, we were a little bit concerned about our accuracy in front of goal. In the last 5 games, we're actually a top 2 side now. So it's good to see that we've rectified that issue at the moment. Go Jamie Elliott. Checkers. McStay got 2 coaches' votes for his 4 goals and that amazing sequence where Bruzzy smothered and then got it to McStay, contested mark on Jacob Wiedering, one of the best, probably the best one-on-one defender in the league, and then bangs it from 60 or whatever you want to call it. Okay, so what's going on here? So Sullivan, put Sullivan here. Lipinski. Well, Pendle's rumored to miss. I mean, what does that mean? Like he was in a load management rehab group on Monday. We'll probably find out tomorrow. If he doesn't participate in the big session completely, maybe we can look into it a little bit more. All right, now this is where it gets tricky, no? So Markov was in the side, as to was Will Parker. Will Hoskin Elliott, will put him here for now. Pendles has a... And then, do we think... Dom says, do we think Bobby should do a club press conference just to keep us supporters in touch with him? He doesn't need to explain his personal issue, but just a quick chat. Look, it would be nice to hear from Bobby and say, yeah, I'm doing well. I'm just going through it. Just bear with me. It's not very common for something like that to be conducted. I get the idea, Dom, but I don't think that will happen. Pendles will play. They're just managing his training loads. Shooter, yeah. So let's bring in Shooter because he's available, as we said at the start of the video. So bang. Just put Markov here for a sec. No, Sidey's back, right? So, geez, see, this is where it gets tricky. Is that what it looks like? And then, does that mean Allen doesn't come back into the side for now? So we see this. So we go Markov, Parker, out. And then we'll go Allen, who's like on the outskirts or is just there. That illness might cost him dearly. I think, like, do we keep Steele? Like, how can you not keep Rowan Steele in? Does Ed, guys in the chat, does Ed Allen come in for Rowan Steele, or do you hold Steele into the side? Is there anyone else? So for now, Coxie emergency, you reckon? Just in case. Steele looked 200% better than Allen. Yeah, if DC's banged up, it could be an emergency. So he won't play in the VFL then, if that's the case, right? Because they're right up against each other. Is there anyone else here? So, like, Bobby Hill probably won't play if we had to guess. No Steele stays in. Hold Steele. Okay. So I guess Allen is unfortunately going to miss out despite playing some good footy. Footy good enough to keep him in the side. Who else could be an emergency? Maybe, well, obviously it would be, we just double dip in this, don't we? Maybe something like that. Or we go, I reckon Markov would be a handy emergency. But, like, Markov and Parker played VFL. So maybe Markov wants a full game in the VFL, potentially, something like that. Given Parker played a quarter and a half, he can be an emergency that doesn't play, perhaps. Big Man says, I think Dean could be back in. Gold Coast run 3 tall key forwards. Maybe, but when we played against Adelaide, it was Billy Frampton, Jeremy Howe and co. We didn't have Darcy Moore then, which leads me to think that Charlie Dean is just not... He's there if all hell breaks loose and injuries and illness absolutely rattle us. His VFL form is always good, but I just don't think he's in the picture for the long term of this for this season. I think he just doesn't. He's just a little bit short. Let's put that there. So Sidey in, Schultz in, Markov out, Parker out, and then. That's really, I mean, there's conversations around Steen's name, but if Jared Witts is playing, I'm putting Cox in if DC is truly needing to be managed. Big Man says he's Fogarty and Tex aren't as tall as Ethan Reid or Jed Walter. Fair point, but I'd still stick with Darcy Moore and Jeremy Howe rather than bringing Charlie Dean in. Charlie Dean traditionally, or from what we've seen, has struggled against taller forwards, so I don't know if bringing him in is going to do a job. I feel like he had his chance. It was only one game against West Coast. It was harsh, but that's just the position we're in. When you haven't played all year and you're not a part of the picture, you don't have much runway to prove yourself. You don't have that time. So I think he's on his final year. I think he got a contract extension, didn't he, at the end of last year? So I think he gets, I don't want to look too far ahead, but potential delisting for Charlie Dean, potentially. That's a predicted 23, guys. I hope you would enjoy that. God, my English. I hope you enjoyed that. Go Pies. All right, that's the YouTube video. And maybe we'll leave that up for a little bit for people coming in as we speak. But let's have a look at the VFL poll. So, okay. There's what? That's 30 odd of yous that want to watch the VFL. Okay. Is Wes Follows available? Who's that, Stewie? Vordo Generation. I think a short defender who can play will help us more than a key position defender who leaks goals. Exactly. And that's putting it kindly for Charlie Dean. As we look at our backline, like Quaynor can play tall sometimes. Moore can. Bruzzy can. Josh Dacos is the exception. Jeremy Howe and Houston can. So I'm pretty happy with this 23. Look, the only thing that could happen here is Allen for Sullivan, but I feel like Sullivan, off the back of the game he had against Carlton, you just have to honour his good form. So that's that. It's a tough, unforgiving game, isn't it, when you're playing this well? Get rid of that. That's just the way it goes. How's Allen, like, by the numbers? Maybe we'll go back here, sorry. And then we'll go... That's showing your age, Stu? Yeah, I don't even know who that is. We'll go back here. Maybe Cox in for Sullivan. Man, like I said, I just, it'd be extremely harsh to drop Sullivan when he's in good form. It's just difficult to do that. The only thing is, don't think Gold Coast often play all three keys at the same time, and Reid takes a second ruck role as well. So hopefully Maynard and Howe can do the job. They've done it all year. They've done it all year. 1980s, goodness gracious. Yeah, it's 17 years beyond me. Sorts at averaging 14 touches. His running capacity is superb. But he's simply just a player who is just finding his feet. Your side reflects availability. Will they rest players? That's true. My rationale, and I did consider resting players, right, in the predicted 23. But I did say at some point that I think if we want to rest players, let's rest players for a game like Richmond, for a game like Melbourne. If you saw, we did a bit of a ladder predictor yesterday. If we drop games against Brisbane or Adelaide or Gold Coast, top two is not sealed yet. So when you have to go to Gold Coast and it's a massive game and it's a team you might come up against in the finals, you take your best available team. When does Demeter get his debut? I think Demeter, if he is to get his debut this season, it will be against Richmond or Melbourne. Michali, Saidi, Shooter, and Allen in for Parker, Markov, and Steele. Allen deserves his spot back. It's a flip of a coin. But should we do a poll? Let's do a poll. Over the long course of both of their careers, maybe Allen has a better ceiling, a higher ceiling. But right now, Rowan Steele just showed a little bit of something with his ball use. And Ed Allen's X factor is his height, and hopefully he develops this intercepting aerial ability to kick goals going forward as well. Ed Allen will probably turn into an inside mid that can play on the outside as well. So he's still a bit of a project, Ed Allen, in my opinion. But I think Steele is a little bit more polished, being a little bit shorter and technically sound with the footy. Steele, who would you pick for Gold Coast game? Rowan Steele or Ed Allen? Big man. Oh, Steele, you've done him dirty there, mate. You've done him dirty. There it is. There it is. What should we look at? Let's look at Gold Coast's availability. Let's look at their side as well to see like where their height is. I'm keen to know what their wingers look like. Let's go Gold Coast Suns. Okay. All right. News. All right, here's the injury update 2 hours ago. Collins missed last week's win over Essendon with a calf complaint. The decision was made to withdraw Sam from last week's match after he reported some calf tightness following a training session. He will train this week and will make a decision on his availability for Friday night closer to the match. In further positive news, small forward Tom Berry is available for selection. Okay. So, was Jared Witts rested then? Can somebody help me? I can't see Jared Witts mentioned in the injury report, nor can I see him on the list. Did he play on the weekend? Was it? Did he play on the weekend? Was he just rested? When did Jared Witt's last play? Was he dropped? He wouldn't have been dropped. Like that's not happening with Jared Witts, is it? He was rested. Okay. He played against Melbourne the week before. Okay. Yep. So he'll be back. So if he's back, he's available. I'm playing DC, even if DC's a little bit sore. That's my opinion. So Sam Collins probable. Who are they missing? They got okay. They don't notice that they don't put the weeks here. It's short term, medium term, probable, and then season. And so who plays on the wing for the Gold Coast Suns? Is it Weller? Lockie Weller? Does he play on the wing? So Miller is a forward/mid. Humphrey forward/mid. Ulan is defender. Anderson midfielder. Jeffrey, was he playing on the wing? Or was he playing in the back line? A lot of marks. I'm going to assume he played in the back line. Apparently Josh has the flu. I think it was Nick who has the flu, Mello. He wasn't at training yesterday. Closey? Closey's a defender, isn't he? Or is he a forward? Forward or defender? Pretty sure he's a... Ed is 11 games ahead, but 4 years behind still. Ed is showing improvement in every game. Exciting to think how good he'll be with 1 to 2 more years. 100%. I think they both have... Like, Ed Allen has a really good ceiling. It's just he's just going to take a little bit longer. Jeffrey plays halfback. Who's the winger, guys? Help me. Will Powell, he plays defence normally, doesn't he? Or is he playing wing these days? I'd say Lockie Weller is one of the wingers. Oscar Adams, never heard of the bloke. Ainsworth plays forward. Walter forward, Long forward. Sexton, did he play forward? That's why he's not on AFL 360 tonight. Okay. And then Buterick, who plays defence. So unless he's playing as a winger these days. Anyways, I just wanted to see how their height fares at the moment. What if they have him listed as a mid as well? Okay. All right. Well, that makes sense then. I've looked at the AFL website quickly to see what the list was against Essendon. Let's have a look. Okay, why can't I check the lineup? Come on, bro. Markov was a Gold Coast Sun. Keep him in. He's been playing okay. He'll be. I just don't think he plays his role. But when you've got players like who have we brought in? Who are we bringing in? Like, how are you keeping out still side bottom and Lockie Schultz? So if you keep Markov in, who are you taking out? Are you thinking Will Hoskin-Elliott or Sullivan? Because I don't think that would be a wise decision, given they both had some decent games against Carlton. Got to be careful of Noble. He's a ball magnet, but also is Daniel Rioli. So we'll see. Does Pendles get rested? Potentially. He was in the rehab group on Monday. Tomorrow will be the main training session, and Thursday will be the captain's run. Fly McRae will have his presser tomorrow. So we'll get a good idea of that tomorrow then, with regards to availability for players like Scott Pendlebury. Just hearing now that if Josh Dacos isn't on AFL 360, he's got the flu. Quaynor vs Noble head-to-head. Greatness says, I'd rather play Steele. Allen will be VFL when everyone is back. Get him ready for the VFL finals. Reward the good game. Selection integrity. Yeah. That's why we got Rowan Steele on the wing. And it's his spot to lose. So 75% of you are saying Rowan Steele should be the man that should face the Gold Coast Suns in lieu of Ed Allen for now. Yeah. What are some other questions surrounding selection or just the game in general? We had some really good conversations in the fan takeaways yesterday. Um, a lot, a lot to talk about. I mean, Ben King is probably one of the obvious ones. This could be Gold Coast's biggest game in their history. It's like a grand final for them. Shock. It's against Collingwood as well, isn't it? That's just the way it goes, unfortunately for us. But would you have it any other way? School holidays up in Gold Coast. Nice weather. What is the weather in Gold Coast anyways? And I think we said yesterday, it'd be a good opportunity for our players who are ill or on the border of getting sick to head to a climate where that doesn't happen so often. Gold Coast weather. So on Friday, it will be 20 and sunny. Good. I don't know if it's going to be slippery with the humidity, but let's check the humidity for Friday. 48% humidity. So I'm not sure if that's enough to make it a dewy game. Sunny and 21, yeah. Yeah. They'll be playing for a statement and ladder security. It's a massive game for them, without a doubt. Like, where are they on the ladder? Let's have a look. Where are these fellas on the ladder? So they have a game in hand as well. So this game right now, this will be the difference between them and them making the top four and just missing it, I think. If they win, look, I know they've got a game in hand. What does their run home look like, though? Just curious, what is Gold Coast like? If they lose against us, like I'm pretty sure they've got a pretty difficult run, don't they? A really difficult run. So they are Collingwood, Adelaide, like, yeah, top four is on the line for them against us, I would say. Look at that. Brisbane, wow. They've got to beat the best. They've got to beat the rest to be the best, basically, in the next few weeks. Richmond, Carlton, so there's a couple gimmies there, or should be a gimme. GWS, they're going to be wanting a spot in the finals. Essendon, and something about Port Adelaide at Adelaide Oval against the Gold Coast Suns reeks of an upset. So, yeah, this win means everything to Gold Coast on this weekend. It kind of hurts to say though, but I'm happy. Yeah. Look, it's just the moment in time for Ed Allen. Like, if he doesn't get selected, it is what it is. He probably plays. I think even if Rowan Steele plays this weekend, I think Ed Allen will play a part of our final series. I still think we play well in the heat, no humidity in the winter on the coast. Is 50% humidity like a lot, or is that not a lot? Yeah, they've got an incredibly tough run home. The resting stars should travel with the team for some R&R, get some vitamin D. I love it. Ken Hinkley farewell game as well. True. Yeah. How nice is it not to worry about? Remember, this time last year, we were like, man, look at our draw. Like, it's just, like, we are. So, if we look at the ladder, I feel like last year, we were like Fremantle and GWS at this time of the year. Weren't we? Let's have a look. So, round 18, this time last year, round 18, where were we? Okay. We were a little bit worse for wear because of the two draws. So we were 9 and 7, yeah? So it's it's nice to know that we're not in this little fuckery this year. Man, look how tight it was last year. Like, from 13 to 2nd, it was anyone's game. Wow, Carlton last year. This time last year, Carlton were 2nd on the ladder. Wow, they were still 2nd on the ladder. 4th. Wow. They just dropped. Wow, they just plummeted. They were out of the 8 from 2nd to 9th. Wow. Good to see Blues. That's not humid? Okay, good. Good. I think this is the only game that is a possibility for us to drop. Gold Coast in Gold Coast with the outs we have is dangerous. Yeah. Ed Allen will be a player, still is a solid player, looks the part. I think it'd be a disservice not to see a little bit more of Rowan Steele this weekend. So that's why I'm keen to see the mid-season draftee play another game. Any news trending? There was like a power rankings thing or something, wasn't there? I went to fuckery once. Didn't like it. Was it a nightclub? History that will have their pies on their toes after red hot start. This is obviously about 2011. I don't want to read this, but I've clicked on it. Collingwood is in rare area again. Just 2 years after being 14-2 on the way to a premiership, the Magpies are again flying high as flag favourites. Friday night's thrashing means the Pies have won 14 of their 16 games and lost just once since the opening round defeat to GWS. But history suggests teams have enjoyed such strong first half of the season, have had mixed results come the business end. Was that 2009 St Kilda as well, where they only lost 2 games for the year? Since 2010, 10 seasons have had a team which has been 14-2 or better, with 09, 11, 23 featuring 2 such sides. In those 10 seasons, 5 of those teams have gone on to win the premiership. It's pretty good, 50% return for the record of for boasting a record of 14-2 at this point of the year is a decent return. Only 2 of 7 went on. Wait, hold on. Excluding the 3 seasons that had 2 teams with records of 14-2 or better, only 2 of 7 went on to win the premiership. Wow. Essendon won the flag after being 16-0, but lost the grand final the following year, having been 14-2. It's a interesting number. West Coast, Adelaide, and Geelong fell at the final hurdle before the Cats made amends the following year against St Kilda, which had been 16-0. Collingwood and Geelong met in 2011 after dominant starts to the campaign, while Hawthorn won the flag 2 years later after also making a strong start. I'm pretty sure in 2011, the only team we lost to was Geelong, and we lost against them 3 times. Fremantle fell in a preliminary final in 2015, while Port Adelaide made a straight sets exit in 2023. The same year, the Pies won the flag. McRae said, not in the Pies' wildest dreams that they expect to reach 14 wins so early in the season, and he can now manage the oldest and most experienced list in the competition as required. The Pies have positioned themselves perfectly for a record-breaking 17th VFL AFL Premiership, but history suggests it's no sure thing. Well, does anyone's birthday fall on the 17th day of any month? That can be a thing for us, can't it? Stav, if we made a grand final this year, it would hurt to lose, but I'd still say this season would be a huge one. Yeah, we always talk about just enjoying the week to week that has been 2025. I think, regardless of what happens at the end of the year, sometimes it comes down to luck when you play a best of one in the final series. That's just the way it is. But we get to enjoy everything before that. It leads into it. Webby says, Tom Mitchell on Bald Manga says, sounds like he's loved being back. Would be shocked if he retired this year based on how he sounded. Yeah, I think he made it known a couple of weeks ago that he wants to play on next year. So, yeah, if he can keep his body right, he'll be a big part of the final series for sure. So here we go. So 14-2, 15-1 up until this point. 14-2, 15-1, 16-0. All lost either a grand final or a preliminary final, despite being incredibly dominant. Geelong, Hawthorn, Pies. Port were 14-2 in 2023. And now the Pies. To be continued, hey? And then just looking at the poll, Rowan Steele 73% and Allen 27%. You guys prefer Rowan Steele, and that's completely justified. Completely justified. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to get this Predicted 23 video out, and we will see you Thursday for moving the magnets, and then Friday, a massive day. Probably going to do a VFL watch-along now, it seems. And then we will do the pre-game show, and then we will do the watch-along for the AFL game, and then the post-game show. So it'll be a big day. So get ready, guys. Get it going, and we'll see you all on Thursday. And as always, go Pies.